happen to work for the state, and if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Karens are often engaged in disruptive behavior, demanding special treatment or reacting inappropriately to minor inconveniences. They frequently make headlines for their confrontations with service workers or other members of the public, creating viral moments of discord. However, what happens when such behavior crosses legal boundaries and results in criminal charges? Same is the case of a Utah woman who was arrested by cops for yanking down a teenager's skirt. Ida Lorenzo, St. George, Utah, April 20th, 2024. An incident unfolded at a Japanese steakhouse in St. George, Utah, involving a woman named Ida Lorenzo. Known to the internet as a Karen, Lorenzo's behavior garnered widespread attention and condemnation after a viral TikTok video captured her inappropriate and invasive actions.
Why are you? Let me do it. Oh my goodness.
What's up?
I happen to work for the state, and if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Do it.
So, I will.
Yeah, go for it right now.
She's over 18.
She is 19 years old.
Her butt
You don't
cheeks.
get to touch her. You don't get to touch
We're
her.
all sitting over
You
there.
don't get to touch her.
Yeah,
You can come up and talk to her, but you do not get to touch her.
Really?
We would love for you to call the
How about you
police.
stop looking at people?
Go ahead and call the police.
Why are you? So why are you?
The incident began when Lorenzo, who was dining at the restaurant, took issue with a 19-year-old woman's skirt, which she believed to be too short. In a shocking breach of personal boundaries, Lorenzo approached the young woman and physically yanked down her skirt. The two women had no prior acquaintance, and Lorenzo's intervention was neither requested nor appropriate. The victim, who was enjoying a meal with friends, was stunned by the unexpected and intrusive touch. Lorenzo's actions were not only invasive, but also deeply humiliating for the young woman, who had to deal with the emotional and psychological fallout of this violation. The confrontation was captured on video by other patrons and quickly gained traction on social media, amassing over 15 million views.
And she comes up to my friend and she reaches under her skirt, yanks it down, and then squeezes her sides because she's wearing a crop top. And it's like, you're probably underage, you probably shouldn't be wearing that. Which you just imply that you think she's a minor and you just assaulted her.
The footage portrayed Lorenzo as an aggressive and judgmental figure, and the term Karen was used to describe her. The viral nature of the video exacerbated the situation, leading to widespread public scrutiny and condemnation. In the wake of the viral video, Lorenzo faced significant backlash. She initially sought help from the St. George police, but her complaint was not about her own actions. Instead, she reported harassment from individuals who were angered by her behavior, which was now the subject of intense online criticism. Lorenzo's explanation to the police was disjointed and seemed to miss the gravity of her own actions.
Hi, Ida. This is Officer Brown, St. George Police.
Hi, how are you, officer?
Good. How are you?
I've had better days, but thank you.
What's going on?
So I have a bunch of little 18, 19, and 20-year-olds harassing me. They got offended because we were at a restaurant yesterday in public forum. We were sitting on the bench waiting to be seated. It was pretty packed because, as you know, the senior ball was yesterday for most of the high schools. And so I was sitting with a 10-year-old sitting on my left-hand side, on my right-hand side, my boyfriend on the left-hand side, and nothing but the whole rest of the wall was filled with 17 and 18, or 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. And a bunch of girls walk in, they go to make their reservation and are waiting to be seated, and one of their skirts were so short that as we're standing there, I see the 10-year-old pointing to one of them, and you could see her entire and the butt cheeks and everything hanging out. And I mean, we were just sitting there, and I was shocked. I haven't worked for the state of Utah, and I was like, oh my God, that is completely inappropriate. We do not need to be sitting at a restaurant having a 10-year-old look at someone's private part. So I got up and I scooted her skirt. Got the skirt and I scooted it down to cover her private part. And the dad that was with the 10-year-old, he was like, thank God. And I was like, oh my God, is everything okay? And he's like, I would be accused of sexual harassment if that had happened. And so as I did that, everyone around me that we were sitting there were all minors. The little girls were like, we shouldn't have to see that. Can't they get in trouble for that? And I was like, at that point, I'm like, okay, well, I probably, should report this or something. And next thing I know, as I'm sitting there listening to all these little teenagers around me, I'll applaud us for at least no one wants to see that, right? And they don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. But we shouldn't have to see someone's private parts in a restaurant. So next thing I know, as we're sitting there and we're discussing it, a bunch of the girls' friends come in and they start talking pure about me because I did that. So I finally, my boyfriend and I were discussing how to best approach that. And he's like, should we do something? Should we call the police? What should we do? And I was like, no, there's just a bunch of silly little teenagers. I didn't think anything major was going to come out of it, but they started to make threats. So I finally got up and I was like, listen, I shouldn't have to sit at a restaurant and look at your private parts. It's plain and simple. And I tried to explain to them the Department of Child Protective Services, and because there was a 10-year-old sitting next to me, and he's the one that pointed out that we could see your private parts, I didn't even get that far, because the next thing I know, I felt like the whole gang of women and their boyfriends, I actually, at that point, my boyfriend was like, I'm afraid they're going to hurt you or hurt me or something. So I finally just was like, okay, fine, I'm just going to sit back down. So I sat back down and I was like, we discussed it, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to let it go. Surely they're not stupid enough to do something dumb. Well, today I do have screenshots. They started trying to find out on a public forum who I am, my private information. They have since posted on the St. George, I guess, word of mouth, a video of me confronting them, trying to explain to them what happened, but they snipped it and they've put their own twist and agenda on it. So people have actually started to reach out to me to threaten me and all kinds of things because I work for the department. So that is a really big issue for me because my teenager happened to be at the restaurant last night. He is a minor, and I most certainly do not approve. I mean, I should have called the police at that point. I should have reported it, and you guys could have just done whatever you needed to do. But that wasn't going to resolve the issue, that it would have taken you probably forever to get there. Nothing would have been done, and off they would have gone. And the 10-year-olds and everyone around would have continued to have looked at the woman's private parts with no one being able to do anything about it. And to me, that isn't right.
When you're saying threats that were made to you, you said threats twice. What are those threats?
They're basically, they posted it on a public forum so that that way I can be fired because they feel that I'm a Karen and it's not acceptable that I approach them. On top of that, they're threatening me of sexually inappropriately touching her in her butt. And on that social forum, they posted my job description and everything. So my information is basically, they're trying to get me fired. And accusing me of sexually inappropriately touching one of them.
Did you touch her?
No, I didn't.
I thought you said you pulled her skirt down.
I did. I touched her skirt, but I didn't touch her.
I mean, we can talk about that later, I guess. But after you send me that video, I'll review it, and I'll give you a call back in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
She described her intervention as an attempt to protect the sensibilities of others, including a young child, and expressed frustration over the online harassment she was experiencing.
So, these little girls have continued to incite a mob, and I've been harassed all day. Not only did they took it down from St. George Post and her Facebook, but now she put it on Instagram, and now she put it on TikTok.
Okay.
No, remember you look at my Instagram account, and they've been harassing me all day. So I turn notifications off and everything. I'm 100% in believing in freedom of speech but when you omit, delete, and and make it seem like one situation is totally different than the other, and then accuse me of sexual harassment without the facts. Like, at some point, something needs to be done, it needs to be stopped, and they have a reputation for doing this. But because of the sensitivity of the nature, and everyone thought she was a minor because she did look like a minor, and there was a ton of kids. It was the high school ball.
Did you think she was a minor?
Yes, I did. I actually thought she was, and that's why I was like,
I just don't understand.
So he got
I don't understand why you
charged.
went up and touched her.
I didn't touch her as a person. Like,
I mean, you confront it. But you see how that looks, right?
I got a standing ovation from everyone that was seating behind me.
That's totally
because I
beside the point legally.
covered
So
all
I understand that
perception.
there's inappropriateness with how she's dressed. I can totally understand that portion. I can understand that things got blown out of proportion, and I can understand your standpoint from it. But I guess, what do you want me to do?
Well, the posts need to come down, and they need to
That's freedom of
stop.
speech. There's no crime.
Not when
They can say whatever they want.
No, but I mean, they're reaching me. All their little friends.
Have you told them to stop talking to you?
No,
Try
because
that.
Despite her claims, the victim reported a different reality. The young woman recounted feeling Lorenzo's hands touch her bare buttocks as her skirt was pulled down.
Her hands, her cold hands, went up my skirt, and I felt her hands up my skirt, and then I felt like a tug. And like, my skirt doesn't go down much farther, like it's not that short of a skirt. And so I felt this tug, and I like whip around thinking it's one of my friends or something. And I'm just kind of standing there in shock, so I'm like, here's this woman I don't know who just came up and touched my bare butt. Like, I have no clue who this is. And like, not even the physical side of things, but mentally, like, I'm struggling so much with weight problems. And for her to come up and do that and make me feel even more insecure in my own body is outrageous to me. So she came up, did that, and then she touches me, or she does that, and then she says, you're underage, you should probably hide that. If you think I'm underage, why are you touching a minor at all? Especially if you think I don't have underwear on.
Yeah, the logic wasn't there.
No.
For me. That's why I was wondering when you mentioned that you thought she might be drinking, I thought there was a judgment issue maybe going on too.
Right.
And then she came back up a second time after Avery came up. Our other friend Avery, fun fact, same name, she was standing right next to her. And the second time she came up, she touched both their hips and squeezed them.
Like, pinched us.
And said she was going to call Child Protective Services if she saw
And then the
butt
rest was
cheeks
on
her.
video.
I saw the video, and I think
Yeah.
57,000 other people saw it too.
The victim and her friends provided statements to the police detailing how Lorenzo's actions made them feel violated and insecure. The victim also emphasized that her skirt was not as short as Lorenzo had claimed and that she was wearing appropriate undergarments. The police investigation confirmed the details of the viral video and the victim's statements. Lorenzo was arrested and charged with sexual battery, a misdemeanor offense.
After listening to everything everything going on, I've talked to Sakura, I got some of their video, I've got the TikToks. I think most everybody in the city has that TikTok. And then we've got your statement, her statement, so I try to make it as unbiased and fair as I can, right? I do have some concerns from what I've been told by them. Obviously, some things you've also told to me, right? Even when we talk two wrongs don't make a right, when we were talking about that, I said, there's criminal behavior that's happened regardless, because there's video footage and because of the claims made, and I have to protect victims. Today, you're going to be placed under arrest for sexual battery, okay? So that's the unfortunate side of all this.
You're arresting me?
Right now you are under arrest, okay? So you'll just face my sergeant and you put your hands behind your back.
Don't reach in your purse, please.
No, I was just trying to put that.
Just follow those instructions.
And just relax your hands, sir.
Do you have any vehicle here?
Yeah.
It's something that
No.
We can keep it
you need to
protected.
call, come get your car.
I'm sorry, what?
Is there somebody we can call for you to have them come pick up your vehicle?
Yeah.
The legal system proceeded with charges reflecting the seriousness of the offense while considering Lorenzo's claims and the public's reaction. Lorenzo was booked and eventually released, but her career and personal life faced significant repercussions. On August 1st, 2024, Lorenzo accepted a plea deal. She agreed to plead no contest to a charge of sexual battery. A no contest plea, or nolo contendere, is a legal term that means the defendant does not contest the charges but does not admit guilt. This type of plea can be advantageous in that it avoids a lengthy trial and potential civil liability, but still acknowledges that the evidence could lead to a conviction. Under the plea agreement, Lorenzo's sentence was suspended for 1 year, during which she must adhere to specific conditions. That's all for this video. We hope you have enjoyed this video a lot. How should society address and prevent such extreme instances of entitlement and aggression? Let us know in the comments section. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon for more interesting videos like this. Thank you for watching our video.